Have you ever thought to appreciate the small things in life? Might be your bed, your health, or your culture. For some reason, many of us take these things for granted. These things help us live long, healthy lives. However, many groups of people don't get given the same opportunities and privileges we do. For a country widely known for its cultural diversity and limitless options, its oldest inhabitants don't seem to be treated the same way. Aboriginals do not get the same treatment or opportunity as non-Indigenous Australians. Because of this lack of treatment, on average, Aboriginal kids are twice as likely to die as non-Indigenous kids, and Aboriginals, on average, die 10 years earlier than non-Indigenous Australians. In recent years, this is largely the responsibility of the Australian government, and the inhumane treatment is largely the government's fault. The Australian government has not been successful in their efforts to close the gap between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians. This is largely the result of the government's failure to include Indigenous voices in the discussion. After 11 years, many Indigenous people still die of preventable health problems due to their lack of medical treatment, education, and funds to afford healthy food. Along with this, community-run programs have the aim of retaining the culture that the world's longest-running group of people belong to, as well as improving Aboriginal lives, diets, and maintaining their traditions. Let me ask you for a second, what do you think when I say these countries? Germany, Sweden, Italy? I'm going to take a guess and assume that for at least one of those, you're thinking about the food. Whether it be bratwurst sausages, Swedish meatballs, pizza, or pasta, we all have a cultural and meaningful connection to the food that our community is known for. Whether it be Lamingtons and Vegemite or Thanksgiving turkeys, it's part of who we are as people and communities. Believe it or not, but Aboriginals have the same thing. But their food is more than just traditional. Due to laws prohibiting certain hunting needed for bush tucker, Aboriginals have instead opted for their local fast food stores and convenience stores for food and drink. This is extremely dangerous as it causes Aboriginals to be diagnosed at least 10 times as likely with diabetes than non-Aboriginal Australians for each age group. On top of this, 1/3 of Aboriginal kids do not get the healthy amount of fruit and vegetables required, and the soft drink problem was so bad that there were many campaigns to reduce the intake of soft drink in Indigenous communities. Another mistake the government is making is the lack of Indigenous power with the saying the issue. This shouldn't be a surprise, as there have been documentaries on how hard it is to become a powerful Indigenous person, such as a Prime Minister. But it is ridiculous when you consider the people who try and fix Aboriginal problems have a social disconnect, as a majority are white men who don't know what it is like to be an Aboriginal and thus don't have the proper knowledge to correctly assist them. Also, there are thousands of Aboriginal tribes all across Australia, all with rich history, traditions, and needs. Currently, the government is trying to fix Aboriginal problems all under one blanket, not as different tribes. This is problematic because, as stated earlier, all tribes have different needs and different solutions to those needs. This is just not possible under Australia's current tactics. The last issue I'd like to talk about is the disgusting, inhumane living environments Aboriginals often live in. The average living environments for many Aboriginals lack adequate housing, water, sanitation, and health facilities. Along with this, Aboriginals suffer from a diabetes and environment-related eye condition that was phased out of non-Indigenous Australia hundreds of years ago due to better hygiene. This still exists today in Aboriginal eyes because of their poor living conditions. Due to this, members of the United Nations have referred to it as lower than third world. For a country known for its opportunities, Australia hasn't been given its first inhabitants the fair go they deserve. You might be asking yourself, what do they deserve? Well, I propose a government-funded, nation-scale community program to give each communities with their own problems the power to fix them. No indigenous tribe is the same, with different morals, traditions, and diets. It's impossible to help every tribe by implementing one blanket law. The Aboriginal race is the oldest race. With so many things to uncover and learn, it's important we cherish what we have and watch it thrive into the future. There will never be one solution for the possibly millions of factors we call the gap, but with the minds of each community solving their own problems on a small scale, we can move on and improve our country. I'm not wearing duck pants, you're wearing duck pants.